Greetings, folks. Great to have you back. Rush Limbaugh, the EIB Network, the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. The increasingly popular, growing by leaps and bounds Rush Limbaugh program on the one and only EIB Network and the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. Telephone number 800-282-2882 and the email address lrushbaugh@eibnet.com. Okay, we're going to get to the sound bites for what I thought was the best speech of the night. Artur Davis, former Democrat, now Republican, used to be in Alabama, lives in Washington, not running for anything yet on the Republican side, but hopefully someday will. I interviewed him recently for the Limbaugh Letter. It's a great interview. It was the most widely read political newsletter in America today. And he was fabulous. But a couple things here about Governor Christie. His speech, as you know, I'm perusing the email from you during the course of the program, and it's running the gamut, and I'm taking my share of heat today, too. Folks, all I can do is come here and, you know, I never have asked myself, what do I think the audience wants to hear, and say it. I've never done that, and as a result of that, some days this is very hard. I'm not whining, I'm not complaining, and I don't misunderstand. I'm just telling you, I always tell you what I really think about things. And I'm never falsely optimistic. I'm a naturally optimistic person. I think we're going to win it, and I think we're going to win this big. But I think that this election's all about Obama. I'm holding back, too. I have not told you a lot of what I think about this convention for a host of reasons. Some of it not necessary, even though people are clamoring to know what I think about things. But Governor Christie, there are people who are not jazzed by this convention. They haven't been jazzed about it since it started on Monday. And a lot of them can't put their finger on why. Now, when it comes to Governor Christie and the keynote, that is for people that are old enough to have made a tradition or habit out of watching these things. The keynote is where you go for the other guy's jugular. That's traditionally what the keynote speech at a convention has been. In recent years, Rudy Giuliani did a keynote, and it was for McCain, and it was a good one last year. That's the one laughed about Obama being community organizer. But I think a lot of people had expectations that's what Governor Christie was going to do last night. He didn't do it. And as such, just a wild guess on my part. But for those who are disappointed, and there are many of you who aren't, there are a lot of you who think this is just fabulous and wonderful, and that's good too. I'm not trying to talk anybody out of anything, nor into anything. I think the reluctance on the part of the convention to go after Obama equates to a perception that there's no leadership. And people want leadership. And there was a lot of hope that Christie was going to do that last night. And he chose to go another way. Now, the criticism of Christie, I think, is also a little baseless in this regard. Well, he didn't even mention Romney's name for 17 minutes. That's no big deal. One of the best keynotes by reputation in the history of keynotes was Mario the Pious in 1984 in San Francisco. Mario the Pious. Who was the nominee that year? Do you remember? 1984. Walter F. Mondale. And do you know that Mario the Pious did not mention Mondale's name once in that keynote address in 1984? I was there. I got out of there alive to host this show today. Not once did Mario the Pious. In fact, Mario the Pious flew in and arrived a couple of 3 hours early and flew out right afterwards. He didn't even hang around there because they all knew that it didn't matter, that Mondale was going down in a landslide. even before Mondale promised to raise everybody's taxes. They knew what was going to happen. I was there. I'll never forget, I ran into some Missouri delegate from Missouri, my home state. He actually said to me, if you spot me 50 electoral votes, we can win this. And I said, what do you mean, spot you 50 electoral? He was trying to tell me how close he thought it was. You spot me 50 electoral votes and we can win this thing. John Kerry, who served in Vietnam, the haughty John Kerry. Obama did the keynote in 2004, and that's why Obama's president today, by the way. Obama spoke about 20 minutes, and it took him 10 minutes before he mentioned Kerry's name. And he didn't mention Kerry's name all that much. So I don't think that's everybody knows Romney's the nominee. If you're going to say everybody knows Obama's record, we're going to talk about that. Who the hell doesn't know that Romney's the nominee? So why is it incumbent upon Christie to mention Romney's name all over the place? But I think it's just a leadership thing. For those people who feel something is amiss. You see, I think this is academic because I don't think the election is going to be about this. I think it's going to be a referendum on Obama, and I don't care what anybody else thinks or says. It is going to be a referendum on Obama. The Democrats are doing everything they can to make it not be the case. That's why they're doing all this dirty junk on Romney and stuff, but they know what they're up against. 4 years ago, Artur Davis was the first congressman outside Illinois to endorse Obama. He delivered a nominating speech at the Democrat convention in Denver. No, Minneapolis. No, it was Denver. Republicans are in Minneapolis. That nominated Barack Obama. Now, 4 years later, Artur Davis shows up at the Republican convention. I think this, and Mia Love was great, and Ann Romney was great. Don't miss it. But I think this speech that Artur Davis delivered last night was just a home run. And I only have 3 excerpts, 3 sound bites of it, but they are enough to get the point across. Here's Artur Davis saying that Obama is a mistake that has to be fixed.
America is a land of second chances. And I gather you have room for the estimated 6 million of us who got it wrong in 2008 and who want to fix it. Remember, my friends, the president's saying of negative politics and untrue ads, not this time? Who knew not this time just meant not unless the economy is stuck and we can't run on our record? Remember when the president said of his own election, this was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and our planet began to heal. Who knew the plain English version of it was, middle America, get ready to shell out $60 to fill up your car?
Artur Davis. Damn right you go after that. This is the moment the rise of the oceans begins to slow and the planet begins to heal. Who the hell? We don't need to heal a planet. We need to heal America. Here's the next soundbite from Artur Davis, where he looked straight in the camera and spoke directly to Democrats like him.
To those Democrats and independents whose minds are open to argument, listen closely to the Democratic Party that will gather in Charlotte and ask yourself if you hear your voice in the clamor. Ask yourself if these Democrats still speak for you. When they say we have a duty to grow government even when we cannot afford it, does it sound like compassion to you? Or does it sound like recklessness? When you hear the party that glorified Occupy Wall Street blast success, when you hear them minimize the genius of the men and women who make jobs out of nothing, is that what you teach your children about work? Do you even recognize the America they are talking about?
That's a great question. Who can possibly relate to the America these people talk about? And here's the next bite, where Artur Davis It's not Arthur, by the way. A lot of people think there's a misprint out there. His name is Arthur. It's Artur. Now, a lot of people think that there was a misprint on his birth certificate, and so he was stuck with it. But no, that's his given name, Artur Davis. Oh, that's right. Oh, damn it. Oh, gee. Oh, I blew it. Oh, no. I'm going to get a demerit from the RNC over in Tampa. Oh. They'll send somebody out to rip me. I just said birth certificate. Oh, well, I can't take it back. We've gone past the delay, so I can't. Is it too late to delay it? It's too late to delay it. Oh, damn, I'm stuck with it. Well, okay. I'll take the heat. Artur Davis, the last soundbite we have.
My fellow Americans, when great athletes falter, their coaches sometimes whisper to them, remember who you are. It's a call to their greatness at a moment when their bodies and spirit are too sapped to remember their strength. This sweet, blessed, God-inspired place called America is a champion that has absorbed some blows, but we bend, we do not break. This is no dark hour. This is the dawn before we remember who we are. So may it be said of this time in our history, 2008 to 2011, lesson learned. 2012, mistake corrected.
Artur Davis, and we'll be back. More of your phone calls when we get back here on the EIB network.